Hey guys, and welcome to your final workshop of the year. This is the pre-recorded version. We did do a live version, which was really good, and we got some really good insight with some of you members on how to set realistic goals. And every time I do a goals meeting, I try to find out how I can get there quicker, how I can make it better for you, to design the right goal for you. What we're going to do is we're preloading for 2026, so we're going to review, we're going to reframe, we're going to reload, and we're going to execute. And what we mean is that we're going to go through a few different exercises. We're going to ask very interesting questions to make sure that you're selecting the goals that really suit you, not the goals you think you might like or the goals that you think other people will want you to do. The theme of today is action and change. If you want to change and if you want to set a goal, you want to change. If you joined a gym, you wanted to change. And this isn't only going to have to be in fitness. It can be in your personal life, your business, your work life. It can be all across the things that you do day to day. And how we're going to look at that is the person I am now. So where I am now, and if I want to get certain strength numbers, or rebuild my strength numbers, or I want to drop body fat, or I want to compete in an event, I have to be willing to either add things into my life or remove things into my life. If I'm adding things, are they going to get me towards my goal? If I remove things, are they going to get me towards my goal? So that's what we want to do. So the person I am today is definitely not going to be the person I am in 6 months down the road if I'm working towards achieving new goals. And it's to understand that that is normal. The person you are when you join a gym is not the person you are today. Every time we do something or we try to make ourselves better, we are moving that needle forward. And we got to understand that one of the other things that I want to kind of bring to your attention is understanding that it's going to be hard. Change, to put yourself outside of your comfort zone, to stretch yourself, requires hard work. And if you go into your goals understanding that it's going to be hard, it's not that it's still not going to be exciting or it's not going to be enjoyable, but you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable working towards those goals, and that is normal. And if you go in with that pre-frame that, yes, I'm going to take on the challenge, it's going to be hard. When it does get hard, it's not a shock to the system. So you got two avenues that you can look at as we get older. Everyone that watched this video is getting older. We're all on that. I'm 43, I'm going to be 44 next year. And there's two outcomes, right? The first outcome is be old, in pain, weak, and unable to do something. And to be honest, that's like 80%, if not 90% of the population. Or you can be strong and fit, able to move, still able to do things, and you'll probably still have some pain, but that pain's not as important because you're able to do stuff. I would rather be the person that's strong, fit, able to move, and have some pain rather than being weak, unable to move, and in pain. Which one are you going to pick? So without further ado, let's get into this goals. We're starting off with a review. So the images here, right? So change only happens through action. Before we build forward, we need to understand backwards. This here is 12 years of evolution, right? So this is FSM back in 2014. As you can see, we had this beautiful hazard wall thing that is horrendous. We wanted to make it look construction-y. We had concrete floors that we painted. So burpees, sit-ups, all that stuff was on concrete. There was no mats. And we had a little bit of carpet for the warm-up. It was just to make it look slightly different, right? And that's how we started FSM. Now, back then, we loved the community. We loved the goal of building a gym. But the thing about it back then is that I knew how to coach. And I could manage a gym, but I couldn't run a gym. So for the first 3 years of FSM, literally burnt out, couldn't pay bills, had the sheriff knocking on our doors for tax, all of that stuff, because I didn't know anything. I put my hands in a good accountant. Well, I thought it was a good accountant. Didn't work out. Business partner issues, all of that stuff. And then for the first three years, I didn't take a wage. And then over the years, and what I realized is that if I'm a business owner, I have to be able to run a business, not manage a business and not coach. So Over the years, we developed a team. I hired coaches to work with me, business coaches to help me do the sales, market, all the different avenues of how to run a gym and how to make the business work. Fast forward 12 years, and now look what we have. A brand new building. We have more cardiovascular equipment than any other gym that I actually know of. We have more equipment, we have more classes, we have more coaches, we have more of everything, and we've grown year on year. So you could say that when I opened in 2014, that was I was very happy that I was able to open a gym. I'm very happy at what I have now, but there's always more that I want to achieve. So there's more things that we want to do here at FSM to provide a better facility for you guys, the members, to provide a better service, to grow the team, to be able to give guys careers so they're able to work here and help you guys, all those things. And everything happened because I was willing to change. Sometimes forced, but generally willing to change. And it was the action that I took. So we're going to get started. First thing we're going to look at is your wins, right? So what are your top 20 wins in 2025? These are, you just start off with fitness, but it can be family, it can be work. If you're stuck, simply just take out your phone, go through your camera roll, because most of the photos you have are of good times. Okay, so what we're going to do with the prompts here is we have prompts that you can use. You're going to have 5 minutes on the clock. Certain things like, when were you at your best in 2025? That's a win. What did you follow through on? A win. What habit stuck? Winning. And even if it was a 6-week habit, or it was a small challenge that you did, or it was a workshop, or something in the gym where you got a better score, like you did the ergathlon or your PB'd, all of those are wins. And when we stack our wins, then we can actually see that it wasn't as bad, because we're very quick to forget about the wins that we have on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Where did you improve? When were you proud of yourself? All of those are wins. And excuse me, I'll give you a quick example. So what I did last Friday was I did my wins, right? So I gave myself a little bit more time and I wrote 50 wins to see how I did. And there were certain aspects of my year where I wasn't successful, but I still got a lot of wins out of it. So just because I might have felt bad at the time, or it's not where you wanted to be, you're still not where you used to be. You're not back there. You've moved the needle forward. So we've got 5 minutes on the clock. When you're done, once you have your 20 done, if you have more than 20, keep working for 5 minutes. Circle your top 5. Circle your top 2. So what was the top 5 wins, and then what was your top 2 out of that 5? Okay, so I'm going to get the clock going, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, we are back and 5 minutes up, guys. I hope you got to look at them, got your 20, your top five, and then your top two of your wins. And as you can see, you can actually see that you have had success this year. You have had wins this year in your fitness. Maybe you've been successful and then you got an injury and it set you back. The injury is one thing. The success was loads. So always double down on what you're doing and how you're doing it well. The next thing we're going to do is write down our 20 losses of 2025. Why is this important? Why do you want to focus on the negative? You just told us to focus on the positive. Because this is where we're going to see, what is the goal, really the goal you want to do? Did you just say you want to do this because you thought that's what you were meant to say? Or was it really viable for you to do? And then if it is something that you really want to do but didn't achieve, why didn't you achieve it? So we got to understand, it's like, it probably wasn't the best time for you to make that decision. Maybe there was too much going on in life or in work or relationships, or you weren't mentally ready to make the changes to take the action to achieve that goal. And if you understand it more, then you know, right, when is a good time, how am I going to do it, and then you can get into that goal again. Again, for me, all my fitness goals pretty much out the window. My big fitness goals out the window. The year was about to be consistent, build back numbers, get my gymnastics, weight down. First 4 months of the year, injuries, plagued with injuries with my neck and my shoulder and my ankles. Um, and then I had a bit of a health issue, which was stressing me out. It's not that I never trained. I was consistent in my training. I was training minimum three, maximum 6 times a week, if not more, like, or in there on the average of 5 times a week. But there was no real purpose because I was doing what I needed to do. It was more for headspace that I was training than anything else. So prompts that you can use is, what was on your list but never left your head. A lot of people have goals, but they never actually action them because they keep them in their head, and your brain is very quick to send it to the back. What goals did you talk about more than act on? I'd love, I'd love to be here. I'd love to do that, but then you're not actually taking any action. Where did distraction win? If you're being distracted to not follow through your goal, generally falls into the food categories. Was it important enough to you, or did you not have enough accountability or control? And what could you do to better that moving forward? Which goals were someone else's expectations, which is a big goal, a big thing. A lot of people set goals that they think other people want to hear, or they want to impress on other people. What did you want, but not enough to sacrifice for? So again, a lot of people want a goal, they want to achieve a goal, but they do not want to put in the work to get there. So they're not willing to change. They're not willing to sacrifice or add something to what they're currently doing so they can achieve that goal. And again, like I said earlier, if you want to achieve a goal that you're not at now, and you want to stretch yourself, you want to see what's possible, then the person you are now has to evolve, has to adapt, and has to change, but more importantly, has to then take the action. So we're going to set 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to get into this. Let's go. Okay, and we're back. So if you got your 20, we want your top five and then your top two circled, and then we're gonna move on. So before we move on, we gotta look at one thing, right? So if we go back, right, to your wins, you gotta understand is that the wins that you have aren't accidents. They're evidence that something worked. Okay? And when it comes to losses, you got to understand that some goals died because they didn't matter. Some goals died because you protected comfort over growth. And a lot of people do that. We protect the comfort of what we're doing. Now you might say, well, I don't feel comfortable, but you're used to feeling the way you feel and you'd rather stay there than move into the next thing, which is kind of scary and unknown. And you know it's going to be hard. But that's the way it works. So not achieving a goal, not achieving your goal this year doesn't mean it's a failure. Stopping altogether kind of could be, but it doesn't mean that you're a failure, right? And we move forward. So moving on to filtering out the noise. So we get bombarded with social media, other people, different programs on what's best for you. And we can get caught up. I've been caught up in a where I was like, oh, I should run an ultra. That's not really what's best for me. And I like challenges are great. But the one thing you got to look at is like busy is not being productive, and talking about change is not change. Talking a good story is not doing the thing, right? So we got to be willing to embrace the change. And how we're going to figure all this out is by asking questions, right? So world-class questions is how we understand, did we really want it? And is it exciting us enough to make the change? Or is it painful enough to make the change? And questions are the steering wheel of the mind. So powerful questions. Ask yourself these nice and quick, give the quick answer. You can elaborate on them later. Is if no one ever saw the result that you want from your goal, would you still want the goal? So is it a personal goal, internal, or is it external? You want other people. Now, I want to feel good. I want to be leaner. I want to be faster. I want to be stronger. And I want to achieve that. But I also want people to notice it too. But I just don't want to do something for people to notice it if I'm not happy in that change. You feel me? That's what I mean, right? Second question. Who benefits from this goal, me or someone else's opinion? Again, it's kind of tearing the first question. Who benefits from this? Are you going to benefit from that goal? Because people take on challenges, but the benefit doesn't benefit them, it benefits other people. Or the idea that it will benefit other people. This is a killer, right? If success requires you to do early mornings, get up in the AM, do less scrolling, tighter discipline on your nutrition and your training, do you still want it? If success required early mornings, less scrolling, tighter discipline, do you still want it? So is it a goal that you want, or is it a goal that you would like? And again, if you're not willing, if it's all about, right, I have no time to train and I have to get up early in the morning, but I won't get up early in the morning, then it's not important enough to you. Go to bed earlier. There is a workaround, and we want to find a hook to allow you to make that decision in your brain that switches it to the rather than I need to, I want to. And it's about changing that language. Which goal excites me? So have you set an exciting goal? Now, this doesn't have to be fitness. It can be like, well, when I achieve all my fitness goals, if I achieve all my fitness goals, I'll be able to take on this challenge, or I will be able to go on this holiday and wear what I want. I'll be able to feel confident in my body more. Like, we want that excitement goal, okay? And then which goal drains me? So a lot of times, again, depending on where you are in your life, you could set a goal that on paper looks great, but all it's going to do is just going to drag you down. There is no fun in it. There's no joy in it. And it's just not the right time for you to work after that goal. And a lot of people set those goals where it's like a weight loss goal, or it's a train so many times a week, or it's I'm going to compete in this event. And it's exhausting them to do the work. And we want to make sure that when you do set goals for 2026, it's a goal that you're looking forward to, and that you're okay when it comes hard, and you're okay making changes. and which goal, if I hit, changes how I see myself. So when it comes to setting goals, when we do challenges or we complete tasks, there's an aspect of the brain that grows bigger, right? It's a resilient aspect or anti-fragile aspect. There is an actual name for it. I don't know the name. And when you either like you complete something that you've never done before, like if you run 5Ks all the time, a 5K is not going to do it. Your first 5K did. But if you like up that ante is in like pushing a time, or you're doing a distance, or you're doing a squat or a deadlift number, or you're just doing a really hard challenge, anything. Once you've completed that, your brain starts to grow, and what happens is you start accepting that hard is okay. It's not that hard gets easy, hard is okay. And the study that came out, and this was on Andrew Huberman's podcast. I was watching him, and it was with him. He spoke about it before, and he also spoke about it with David Goggins as well. Is that people that do hard things tend to live longer because they're constantly making their body better. They're making their mind better. And there is a direct connection. It's called the muscle-mind connection. John Serrano wrote a book on it, and it's really, really interesting. I've been told it's really interesting. I've actually downloaded the book because I want to listen to it in January. But there is a connection between the muscle-mind, okay? And it's hitting those goals. That's where we want. Boom. Right? Goals count only if you're willing to pay for them with action. Again, like I said from the very beginning, if I want to achieve a goal, let's say it's 8% I want to lose 8 kilos of body fat off my frame, then am I willing to change and take action? And then we'll talk about the actions in a little bit, exactly how I would approach that. But that's the thing. If I want to be faster, if I want to run more, if I want to scroll less on my phone, if I want to spend more time in my relationship, if I want to spend more time with my kids, I want to progress through my company. It only happens if we take action. So, building your 2026, right? 3 pillars, non-negotiables: fitness, family, and fun. There's more you could pick, but what we're going to do is going to call it the big 6. And we're going to work on, so ideally it's 2 for everything, but it can be all fitness, it can be more family, it can be more fun. It doesn't matter. It's setting a goal. Obviously at FSM, we want fitness goals to be achieved. So when we look at it, we pick 2 goals in each pillar. Again, as I say, you'll have to. And when it comes to fitness, what does stronger, healthier, or leaner mean in real terms to you? Family, what moments matter this year? How do you show up better? And fun, what experiences, hobbies, challenges, or memories do you want? Now, these are layered on top of each other for a valid reason. If I become healthier, fitter, stronger, have more energy, I am going to be more present at home. I'm going to have more energy to have a better relationship with my partner, with my wife, and have a better relationship with my kids and my family and my friends. And then I'm going to be able to have the extra energy and focus to do more fun things, game nights, challenges, try new things. Doesn't matter, go to silent discos or go to a concert, more concerts, or it doesn't matter, whatever your vice is, you're going to have the energy and the want to do that because you feel better in yourself. So, planning your goals. So what we want to do, we just go back here. So take a few moments, pause this video, and then set out 6 goals. 6 goals that you want to achieve in 2026. Now, these are all subject to change. Just writing it out now, we're getting the juices flowing. And then what we do is, once you have them down, 12 months, what is that going to be 12 months? What is it going to be 6 months? What is it going to be in 3 months? Okay, so the other thing that we want to talk about is write goals that have definitions, not slogans. And here's the reason why. You write goals that have definitions, not slogans, because I want to be fitter. That's a slogan. I want to be fitter because I want to achieve this thing, and it will make me feel this way. So you're anchoring the goal to not only a task, but also an emotion. And when you attach a goal to a task and an emotion, you're more bought in. You're more bought in. It's really important. Saying fitter, weight loss, they're the silliest things you can say. Weight loss, how much weight? By what time? What are you struggling with now? How do you get a handle on that? How do we move forward? These are the questions that we got to ask. So in 12 months, we're talking about, oh, sorry, in 12 months, we're talking about things that could be, I'm going to be 8 kilograms, like I said earlier, 8 kilograms lighter. If body fat, 8 kgs of body fat off my frame, right? So that means by 6 months, I need to have 4 kilograms of body fat off my body. Statistically, by 3 months, I need to have 2. And by 6 weeks, I need to have 1 kilogram off my body. Now, let's think of it like this, right? In 6 weeks, starting January 1st, could I lose 1 kilo of body fat? 100%. The problem is most people want to lose more. I don't want to 5-6 kilos in 6 weeks. You're not losing body fat. You'll lose a bit of muscle, you lose water, you lose bloat. But if you're setting a full 12-week, like to lose 8 kilos like of body fat, even if you just say 10 kilos of pure body fat off your system, it takes time. It took time to get it on you. It's going to take time to get it off you. And then you got to be willing to make the changes on top of that. So let's look at it for 6 months, right? So if we have 6 months, right, you got to ask these questions, right? And these questions are very important. And they're layered specifically in this way. If I am on track by June, what will be obvious? I'll be 4 kilograms down. I will be fitting into clothes better. I will feel better. I'll be performing better in the gym on certain movements. Yeah. So there are things that are going to be obvious, right? What habits will be in place? I've made changes to my diet. I am no longer consuming alcohol or no longer consuming treats Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday. I'm exercising on a regular basis. And what will be different about my energy, my confidence in my routine? I'll be more confident, I'll have more energy, and I'll be in a really good routine. I'll be in a really good routine that is allowing me to achieve those goals. So if you reverse engineer that, is that I'm going to feel better, I'm going to look better, I'm going to be more confident in myself, I'm going to be in a good routine. And I'm doing that because I have changed how I look at food, that I'm training on a regular basis, that I'm getting the sleep that I need. And by June, I will be 4 kilograms down. So we have the goal, we have what we need to do, and then we have how we're going to feel about it. Again, we're attaching the emotion to the goal, which is really important when it comes to long-term goals because it keeps the momentum moving. And I'll talk about momentum near the end. So when it comes to 3 months, you're going to ask the question, what must be in motion by March? What do I need to achieve? I need to have 2 kilograms of body fat down. What needs to be booked, paid for, or started? Do I need a nutrition coach? Do I need to talk to my coach? Do I need to sign up to something? Do I need to get rid of stuff out of my house food-wise? Do I need to start food prepping? Do I need a food company? How am I going to manage my food? How am I going to manage my sleep? And who do I need help from? The biggest one, the who, not how. The who, not how is the big. Who is going to help me? Who can help me? Who's going to hold me accountable? And when we're starting any goal, that's very important to have that. And if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. And what I mean is that we all have calendars. And I think you should, like, literally, when you're setting your goals, and this you can pause this and work through some goals and then unpause and keep going. But when you're setting your goals, generally when I set my goals, I'll spend a couple of hours writing them out, and then I'll spend about an hour or two, probably the next day, putting them into my calendar. Okay, and what I do is, like, I set my targets, I put them into my calendar, and then I set what needs to happen by these dates. Now, this takes a bit of time, but if you're willing to commit, like, literally a day or 2 days to setting up and prepping your goals, you have the likelihood of achieving them a lot more than just going, I'm going to lose weight, so I'm going to start going to the gym in February or January or whenever you want to start. So it's very important that you set targets with calendars. And again, if you're not sure, you can always book a goals call, ask coach. All right. So here's the action you're going to do now, right? So you're going to write down pen and paper. My 26 begins on the 1st of January or the 5th of January, because the first, so for a lot of people, it'll be the 5th, the following Monday. And I will prove it by posting in the members group. I'll post on social media. I'm going to create an accountability group of 2 to 3 friends that are going to be working towards their goals too. And we're going to hold each other accountable on WhatsApp. And then the proof could be your training, how many days. You're not going to consume alcohol. You're going to start meal prepping better or work with a meal company. You're going to start journaling about your day and finding your 3 wins every day. You're going to acknowledge all your PB attempts. You're going to start walking more. Okay. And these are just like ideas. They're not like this is what you should be doing. Again, we got to figure out what works best for you. So accountability and challenge commitments. All right. So if it doesn't stretch you, I mean, so we're talking about change and we talk about change in action the whole way through. If it doesn't stretch you, it doesn't change you. So if you're doing something that you can already do, you're not going to get better. You get more efficient, but you're not going to get better. So it has to challenge you. It has to stretch you for it to change you, right? Most people don't fail because the goal was impossible. They fail because the standards remained negotiable. So that's about setting non-negotiables. Like, for example, on Sundays, I will not be on my phone scrolling. I'm not allowed on social media on Sundays. I'm not allowed on social media on Saturdays. My family, I'm making my family do, like, this isn't me, but it's an option. My family is going to have one night where we don't watch TV or we don't do social media. So it's a no technology night. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for 4 or 5 weeks. Then eventually, people are going to start talking or reading more and start engaging the way humans are meant to engage. Okay? So you got to understand, if I set a no technology night in my house, the first couple of weeks are going to be a little bit rough, but then it's going to fall into a normal routine of like, well, we just don't do it because on Mondays we don't do technology. And then we play more board games, we talk to each other, we're interacting with each other. But if we have all the distractions, we miss out on that amazing connection that we get with our families and our friends, for that matter. So you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards that are now. So in order for me, so my standards are where I am now. If I want to create new standards, I have to stretch and grow. And you got to commit to one, if not commit to many. Some of the things that you could do are examples of, like, with a healthy body and a healthy mind, you could look, and again, there's a few slides I missed on this. So you got 50 days no alcohol, 100 days no alcohol, no food after 7 p.m. Going to track my meals daily. I'm going to only eat desserts on weekends. I'm going to make sure I get my 8 hours sleep. I'll be in bed by 9:30 or 10 o'clock every single night, and that is a non-negotiable. And these are the things, like, for me, when I look at alcohol, and it's not that I'm not a teetotaler, like I give up alcohol from like 100 days here and there. I very rarely drink. But what I did notice that if I do drink on a Saturday night, by Wednesday, I'm only really coming around. So I'm losing 2 to 3 days of productivity. That times 4 or 5 times a year, I'm nearly losing a month, if not up to 6 weeks of productivity per year. And if you gave me 6 weeks at the end of every year to play with for my family, for work, I can do an awful lot of good things in that time. And that's what we want to look at. The other thing, you got training, you got mobility, and you got recovery. Again, these are options. They're not, you have to do this. But if you look at 2 mobility sessions a week, if you struggle with mobility and hip tightness, back tightness and all that, and you're not doing mobility on a regular basis, 2 mobility sessions a week. So that's 104 sessions a year. That is going to have a massive compounding effect. And even if it's only 1. So if you're not doing any, but you do 1 a week, that's 52 sessions a year. That's going to have a compounding effect on your body. Mobility every day for 10 minutes. And what I mean by that is, like, let's do 7 days mobility challenge or 21-day mobility challenge. You could do that every single month, where you pick either a 7-day or a 21-day, where you do, I'm going to do 10 burpees every day for 21 days. In January, in February, I'm going to have 21 days of cold showers. In March, I'm going to do mobility every day for 14 days, 10 minutes every single day for 14 days. And then by the end of 12 months, you will have 12 challenges completed. And all of those hard things, uncomfortable things, and they're micro ones, they're building that resolve in your brain, so then you're willing to take on bigger challenges. And we all have the time. We all have the time to do those smaller micro goals. Book a deep tissue massage for recovery. Train 4 days a week. Here's the stats and the numbers, right? So if you're doing 3 days a week, that's 156 sessions a year. If you're doing 4, it's 208. If you're doing 5, it's 206 sessions a year, and so on and so forth. But if I commit to my 3 days a week training, that's 156 days. I have to make 150. and I'm allowing for 6 mistakes. Because if I hit 150 plus, I'm winning. If I hit 154, but I wanted 156, I will be lost. It's a psychological barrier. You always have a buffer room. And if you get 158, that's a double win. And it's the same way if you do 4 days or 5 days, you got to look right. So and if you like tracking numbers, that's a really good approach to do it. Run a 5K, you got to run 10K, do FSA. We have a lot of events coming up in 2026. We've more events and workshops than we've ever had. So yeah, jump up into one of them and challenge yourself. And then you got the likes of mindset and growth. And this is like, again, it all goes hand in hand, like the muscle mind connection, like I've already said, is like read 12 nonfiction books, biographies that inspire you, books about whatever tickles your fancy, that's going to make you a better person. Or you want to literally shut off and start reading fiction again, reading fictional novels of crime or fantasy, whatever it is. You start reading books that allow you to literally detach from society, detach from what's going on, and de-stress from your brain. Journaling every day. I journal pretty much most days. For the last 5 years, I've been journaling. I'd say if you had to put it into an average, I get about 80% of my journal done every 3 months, if not a little bit more. And I've been doing that for 5 years. And for me, it works. I know some people not into it. For me, 100% work. Daily gratitude, weekly no device night with family, like I said. Replace new consumption with education. Replace news, because again, what's on the news? Just horrible stuff around the world. And let's be honest, if you're not going to be able to impact it and change it, then why are you listening to it? All it does is serve to make you feel uncomfortable or make you feel sad. So if it's not like, if you are a fitter, healthier, stronger person, you're working on you, you're working on like how you live your life, and you're impacting people in a positive way, then yeah, you're impacting the world in a better way than watching news about something that you can't understand or change. Complete a course, business, parenting, hobby, or skill. All cool things to set up for your mind, because it's not all about the physical body. You always want to challenge your brain. As we get older, we want to keep on challenging who we are. And then you have life, family, and fun. Again, I left this slide out. Like one weekend away every 6 months or every 3 months with your partner. Even if it's you send the kids off and you stay at home. And you have one night at home without the kids. Plan and book your summer holidays super early, so it's all in the bag. Monthly date night, that's a non-negotiable. Family cooking nights, digital detox Sundays. Document a year, like take photos of something every week, and then do a photo collage for 2026 to 2026 year of here it is. Again, it can be silly. Like, I don't know. These are all just different things that I've heard other people do. And it's whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be all of them. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 4. It doesn't matter. It's once you're working towards bettering every aspect of who you are. And then doing a challenge, right? So challenge is what's the hard thing. If it's not hard, it wasn't a challenge. Okay, so the purpose of a challenges create identity shifts. So again, when you complete that challenge, you start to change because your brain starts to adapt into a new version of itself. Identity shifts create behavior consistency, and behavior consistency creates results. So if you're able to change who you are today for the better, your identity shifts and creates behavior consistency. That consistency then creates results. And if you keep adding to that, even if it's 1%, now it can't be like this. It's going to go up and down. It's going to go up and down like everything in life. But that's how we get there. And these are not tasks. These are agreements with your future self. So you take on these challenges to achieve these results. You've set an agreement with yourself that you're going to fulfill. And generally, we are the people, we let ourselves down more than we'll let anyone else down. And that's where it comes into having accountability and who we need to talk to. So, no time to explain. Get in the van. I put this in all my slides. You know why? Because it's a unicorn and a parrot and a cat in a van. And it's so random. And it has nothing to do with this. But I like it. I always find it funny. PB tracking and goals meetings. Right. So, For some of you that weren't here originally back in the day, we used to have a bell in FSM, and anytime someone did something cool, box jump PB, lift PB, workout PB, or it was just their birthday, we rang the bell, put their name on the board. The bell broke. We stopped doing it. I can't remember why I never replaced the bell, but we're bringing it back. The bell is ordered. It hasn't arrived, but it will be here hopefully for January. It will go up, and the coaches are been tasked with recording every single PB. And then what we want you to do is start recording your PBs, because at the end of every month, we want to be able to track, like, listen, you got 7, 8 PBs. That's awesome. And you can be like, didn't have a good month. You had 8 PBs. I think that's a good month. 1 PB is a good month. Okay. Goals meetings, you book, we guide, right? So you have access to goals at FSM, as many as you want, really. We generally recommend 1 a month max, because it's not that type of service. But the way it works is your first goals meeting will be 15 minutes. Your second one will be less than 10. Your third one will be 5, and everything after that will be 5, because we're going to get right to the point. It's not, oh, I couldn't do this because of A, B, and C. It's like, what you need to get a handle on, what's stopping you from doing it, what you need to do now, how do I know you're going to do it? And we're going to the point. So if you have 5 minutes, you can jump on a call. We're going to post it with the calendar, and then you can book the calls whenever you need them, right? And again, use us to help you. The whole purpose of this gym is to help you achieve your goals, not only but physically, but anything else that we can help with. Once it's within what we can do, we're going to go and do our best to do it. And we're always trying to do better. Again, remember, when it comes to the gym, your job is to show up, our job is to support, challenge, and hold you to a standard. So if you want next year to feel different, you must act different. Preload 2026 isn't about new year motivation. It's not about motivation. It's about momentum, right? It is about building the identity that achieves the things. This is where excuses go to die and standards go to work. Now, I did say it's not about motivation. It's about momentum. Momentum is positive and negative. And here's how it works, right? So if I've got momentum, you've got to think of it on a curve. If I'm pushing something up a hill, like a car or a large stone ball like Atlas, if I'm pushing that up the hill, it's hard to get it moving, right? So either way, the weight is on me, but I'm moving it forward. If I stop, I can't stay in the same spot. You either move forward or you shrink backwards. So the same way I'm moving forward is either, if I'm not moving it forward, it's on top of me, pushing me back. It's not staying the same. So momentum, no matter what way you look at it, it's either positive or negative. It's hard either way. Pushing it forward is hard. Letting it be on to control you and push you backwards is even harder. So which hard do you want? Do you want the momentum going forward, or do you want the momentum pushing you back? I want the momentum for all of you and me and the team to be going forward. So let's go. Change only happens through action. I'll say it again. Change only happens through action. Let's build a year that your future self will thank you for. Guys, that is it for this goal. If you have questions, again, email me, talk to Dave, Alex. We are here to be utilized to help you achieve those goals. But picking the right goals for you is the all-out key to this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you took notes. Hope you set some really cool goals. And I want to know what goals you set. So send me your emails. Or if you see me in class or see me around the building collecting the cloths, pull me aside and go, hey, these are my goals. And I'd love to read them, right? See you in the next one.